The stars shimmered like scattered diamonds across the endless black canvas of space. But tonight they carried an unsettling weight. Captain Celine Kovar leaned against the railing of the observation deck aboard the starship Horizon, her dark hair brushing her shoulders as she watched the endless void. 15 years of exploration had taught her to read the stars, to anticipate the quiet whispers of distant worlds, but this stretch of space felt wrong. Every light seemed sharper, every shadow deeper, and a sense of tension hummed through the ship. Her crew moved through the corridors with a mixture of precision and nervous energy. Lieutenant Aaron Teeth, the ship's communications officer, tapped impatiently on his console, eyes flicking between readouts. "Captain, the jump coordinates were precise. We should be in the Omega Quadrant near Sector V12. But the readings, they don't match anything in the charts," he said, voice low as if speaking louder would draw unwanted attention. Celine nodded, her calm demeanor hiding a storm of calculations running through her mind. "Hold your position, Aaron. Scan again. I want a full energy signature sweep. Something's out there." From the sensor deck, Dr. Emiko Satu, the ship's xenoscientist, looked up from her monitors, brows furrowed. "Captain, I'm seeing something massive beyond anything we've encountered. The readings are chaotic, unstable, and yet highly organized. It's as if 100 star systems were concentrated into a single fleet." Her voice was hushed, almost reverent. Celine straightened, the first trace of a frown forming. "Bring it up on the main screen." The main viewport flickered, and what appeared made even the most seasoned officers on the horizon catch their breath. Hundreds of ships floated in formation, stretching beyond the edges of the display. Angular, black vessels glinted with hints of crimson and gold under the distant starlight. They were enormous, dwarfing the Horizon's exploration-class frame, and their weapons arrays gleamed with lethal precision. For a long moment, silence held the bridge. 200 souls aboard the Horizon had never seen anything like this. Whispers of fear moved through the crew like a tangible breeze. Celine's gaze swept across the bridge, reading each face, measuring the pulse of panic. She knew she couldn't show weakness, not now, not ever. "Incoming transmission," Aaron said, his voice slightly trembling. The viewport shifted, revealing an alien figure that would haunt the nightmares of humans for generations. 4 crystalline eyes rotated independently, skin patterned with ridges and iridescent scales and jaws that hinted at carnivorous intent. The universal translator clicked into life, rendering guttural growls into harsh, commanding words. "Unknown vessel," it said. "You have entered the sacred territory of the Zelthar Dominion. Declare your allegiance or be annihilated. 60 seconds remain." Celine inhaled, her fingers brushing the railing lightly. Her voice was calm, smooth, measured, carrying authority without threat. "Good day," she said, her tone almost conversational. "I am Captain Celine Kovar of the Earth vessel Horizon. We apologize if our presence is intrusive. It appears we have encountered a navigational anomaly during our experimental drive test. We seek guidance and, if possible, safe passage." The alien commander, known to his subordinates as High Admiral Kelleth, paused. His 4 eyes blinked sequentially, scanning every detail of her posture, her expression, her measured speech. He was used to predictable fear, panic, or blind aggression. None of that appeared here. Instead, he saw a human who spoke as though negotiating trade routes, not survival. "Speak plainly," Kelleth demanded. "You are surrounded by my fleet. Do not test our patience. Power down your systems and submit." Celine gestured to Dr. Satu, who stepped forward, her voice cheerful and analytical. "Hello, High Admiral. We are here purely for exploration. Our mission is to catalog star systems, study unique life forms, and expand the collective understanding of intelligent life in the galaxy. Your fleet, it is remarkable. Your engineering, propulsion systems, it's truly a masterpiece of design. Would it be possible to allow a cultural exchange? We could learn so much from each other." Kalath's tentacles twitched. Never in his long career had an alien species spoken to him this way. Curiosity, bravery, ignorance? He could not decide. The human's calm demeanor was unshakable. Her crew mirrored her composure. Their eyes focused, their hands relaxed. There was no fear, no urgency, only presence. "You mock us," Kelleth growled. "You do not comprehend the might you face." Celine smiled faintly. "I assure you we do. That is precisely why we approach with respect, not hostility. War does not need to define first contact. There is knowledge to share, understanding to gain. We come in peace." For a long moment, the silence between the ships was almost unbearable. Keleth's subordinates whispered among themselves. They had never seen a species respond to overwhelming threat with such unyielding calm. The human's poise was disarming, unnerving, almost terrifying. "Your vessel is surrounded by 500 of my warships," Keleth hissed finally, "each capable of reducing you to ash. Yet you do not react." "Yes," Celine replied evenly. "We see the size of your fleet. We also see the opportunity for cooperation. If you could direct us to the proper channels for first contact, it would be greatly appreciated." "Our intent is purely scientific," the alien officers whispered. The War Council aboard the flagship unsettled. "They are not like the others," one said quietly. "They do not fear. They do not plead. They simply exist." Celine turned to her crew, her voice calm but firm. "Let's begin a protocol of peaceful approach. Maintain sensor scans, prepare for communication, and keep alert for any sudden aggression. Trust in your training, everyone." Dr. Satu smiled, tapping her console. "Captain, I think they might just let us live. Or at least observe us with caution. Either way, it's fascinating." As the horizon drifted among the colossal alien ships, the human crew remained a beacon of composure in the vast darkness. The galaxy, it seemed, had never seen anything like them before. The silence of humanity was already more powerful than war itself. And in the far reaches of the Zelthar Dominion, High Admiral Keleth realized that these humans were not just explorers. They were a challenge to the very expectations of the galaxy, and the next moments, he understood, would redefine the future of interstellar diplomacy, conflict, and fear. The horizon floated silently among the Zelthar Dominion fleet, each alien vessel a mountain of dark metal bristling with weapons. Yet aboard the horizon, Celine Cover's crew moved with quiet confidence. Lieutenant Aaron Teeth kept a careful watch on the communications feed, scanning for hidden signals or signs of hostile intent. "Captain, they're maintaining formation, but their subspace channels are active, some kind of coordinated scanning. They might be assessing us." Celine nodded, her eyes never leaving the viewport. "Let them scan. Remember, fear is their tool. We don't play by their rules." "Dr. Satu, what can you tell me about the fleet?" Emiko Satu's fingers danced across the console. It's structured like a living organism. The vessels adjust their positions in real time, like neurons firing. There's a command matrix connecting them all. If one ship is damaged, the others compensate instantly. It's a level of coordination we've never encountered. They're not just warships, they're an integrated intelligence. "Sounds terrifying," Aaron muttered, swallowing hard. "Terrifying, yes," Celine admitted, "but understanding them is the first step to surviving them." "Prepare a message to send. A formal request for a diplomatic observer. No fear, no pleading, just facts and respect." The crew set to work. Dr. Satu drafted a carefully worded transmission, emphasizing Earth's exploratory mission, the desire for knowledge exchange, and humanity's willingness to comply with Dominion protocols. Celine read it once, twice, and then approved the transmission. Aaron sent it through the open channel, fingers trembling slightly. The silence afterward felt heavier than any threat. On the Dominion flagship, High Admiral Keleth stared at the incoming message. 4 eyes rotated in precise sequence, scanning the text, analyzing the syntax, the tone, the phrasing. None of the dozens of species his fleet had encountered had ever communicated with such unshakable clarity and composure. There was no panic, no subterfuge, only presence. They don't fear us," whispered one junior officer, tentacles curling nervously. "And they don't obey out of terror." "What is this species?" "Humans," Keleth replied softly. "They are dangerous, not in strength but in certainty. They do not react to threats as expected. Their silence, their calm, it is unsettling." Back on the horizon, Celine leaned on the console, studying the alien formations. "They're testing us. Every movement, every scan, every shift in formation, it's all observation. They want to see if we break, if we panic. We won't give them that." Dr. Satu looked at her screens, eyes wide. "Captain, I'm detecting subspace fluctuations near their central command node. It's a type of energy we haven't cataloged, like a psychic resonance. It could amplify their coordination exponentially. If we act rashly, we could trigger a response we can't defend against." Celine absorbed this quietly. "Then we proceed cautiously. Maintain course, keep scans active, and continue communication attempts. Our goal isn't to fight, it's to survive, to learn, to demonstrate that humanity operates differently." As the horizon moved deliberately through the fleet, small ripples of reaction spread among the Zelthar ships. Some vessels shifted closer, weapons arrays subtly angling toward the horizon. Others held back, almost as if uncertain. Kalath felt a tension he had never known in a war council. Curiosity, respect, fear, all intertwined in a complex knot. Send another message, Celine instructed. Invite them to observe our ship. Emphasize transparency. Assure them of no aggression. If they board, we will cooperate fully. Maintain calm, maintain control. Aaron hesitated. Captain, are you sure? Inviting them onto our vessel could be risky. Exposure, sabotage. Celine smiled faintly. Aaron, remember what we discussed during training. Fear is their weapon, certainty is ours. We demonstrate control not through firepower, but through composure. Send the invitation. The message was dispatched, reaching the Dominion flagship almost instantly. Kalath studied it, pacing his command chamber. His fleet waited, expecting a reaction. Either submission, attack, or panic. None came. Instead, a single human voice had altered the balance of the encounter. Minutes passed like hours. Then, a subtle shift occurred. One of the larger Zelthar ships began moving alongside the horizon. Its sensors aligned, but weapons dormant. A signal flared, indicating a boarding request. Celine regarded her crew. This is the moment we've prepared for. Remain calm, remain observant, and follow protocol. This is first contact. As the boarding vessel docked, the airlock hissed and the aliens entered the horizon. Kalath himself stepped onto the bridge via a reinforced corridor, observing everything with 4 eyes that scanned every detail. He expected fear, he expected hesitation, but he found none. Humans moved with a quiet confidence, acknowledging his presence without flinching. You are unlike any species I have encountered, Kalath said finally, his voice low but resonant. You do not fear, you do not flee, you do not submit. Why? Celine responded simply. Because we understand that fear is a tool, not a necessity. We choose action through reason, not instinct. Our silence is not ignorance, it is observation, understanding, and intention. The alien paused, processing the words. The bridge crew of the horizon exchanged glances, and even Aaron felt a shiver of awe. The psychological weight of humanity's calm had begun to reshape the Dominion's perception of them. Torsatu added, Hi, Admiral. If I may, we are scientists, not soldiers. We wish to share knowledge, to learn, and to foster understanding between species. Our technology is unarmed by design, but our minds are active. We wish to cooperate, not conquer. Kalath's tentacles twitched with restrained tension. He realized the humans were not naive. Their confidence, their unflinching approach was not a lack of understanding. It was mastery of self, an entirely different form of strength. After long deliberation, Kalath signaled his fleet. The ships held position, weapons still trained but inactive. The Horizon's crew exhaled collectively. The first true test had passed. The humans had survived an overwhelming show of power, not through brute force but through composure and strategy. Celine turned to her crew, voice quiet but firm. This is only the beginning. They will watch, they will test, and they will learn. Our strength lies not in destroying but in enduring. Humanity's presence here will be remembered not for fear, but for wisdom and restraint. The horizon continued its careful course, the stars stretching endlessly ahead. Yet in the hearts of the humans aboard, a quiet fire burned, one that would ripple across the galaxy in ways even the Dominion could not yet imagine. The Zelthar fleet had expected submission, fear, and chaos. Instead, they found clarity, calm, and an unyielding spirit. And somewhere deep in the command chambers of the Dominion, Kalath wondered if he had just witnessed the birth of a force the galaxy had never reckoned with, humanity's silent, unshakable presence. The horizon drifted silently among the stars, its sleek frame a small dot against the vast expanse of the Zelthar Dominion fleet. Captain Celine Kovar stood at the observation deck, watching alien vessels shift and respond as though aware of her presence. It had been hours since the first contact, yet the weight of what had just occurred lingered heavily in her mind. The humans had survived an encounter that could have destroyed them, not by firepower but by an unshakable calm. Lieutenant Aaron Teeth approached quietly, his voice low. Captain, they're still watching us. The fleet hasn't moved or attacked, they're hesitating. Celine nodded, her gaze fixed on the distant glow of alien engines. That hesitation is everything, Aaron. It means we've planted a seed. Doubt. Curiosity. Respect. It's more powerful than any weapon we could carry. From the communication console, Dr. Emiko Sato spoke softly, almost in awe. Captain, the readings show the Dominion fleet is recalculating. Their neural networks, their command matrix, they're adapting to our behavior. They're trying to understand us. Humans are rewriting their expectations. Celine allowed herself a small smile. We've already begun to change the galaxy, Emiko. Not through conquest, not through fear, but through being ourselves. Calm, measured, observant. Our presence alone has made them rethink everything. The door slid open, and a boarding team of Zelthar officers entered the observation deck. Kalath stepped forward, his 4 eyes fixed on Celine. He moved with the precision of a predator. Yet there was no hostility. Instead, there was a palpable curiosity that filled the room with tension. Captain Kovar, Kalath began, his voice deep and resonant. We have observed countless species, each responding to our fleets in predictable ways. You are unlike any we have encountered. Your silence, your composure, it unsettles even our most experienced commanders. Celine inclined her head respectfully. High Admiral Keleth, it is not our intention to unsettle. We seek understanding. We hope to demonstrate that strength does not always lie in weapons and that communication, respect, and observation can shape outcomes as powerfully as force. Keleth's eyes scanned the humans present. He could see the subtle tension, the careful coordination, the quiet confidence that radiated from every crew member. The realization dawned slowly but fully. This species was not naive. Their restraint, their unwavering calm, was a strength he had never encountered. You have survived where many would fail, Keleth said finally, not because of your technology, though it is impressive, but because of your minds. Your certainty, your clarity, your refusal to act out of fear. It is a new form of power. Celine's voice was calm, measured.
We cannot know all that exists in the galaxy.
We cannot assume we will always win through force, but we can choose how we act, even in the face of overwhelming odds. That choice defines us, not the size of our fleet. Kalath paused, the weight of her words sinking in. His fleet awaited his command, ready to destroy the small human vessel at a moment's notice. Yet he could not. For the first time in his long career, the scales of power felt uncertain. Fear had not governed their interaction, neither had desperation. Humanity had introduced an entirely new dynamic into the galactic equation. Your presence has shifted the balance, Keleth admitted, and perhaps the galaxy itself. Celine glanced at her crew. There was pride in their eyes, not arrogance, but quiet satisfaction. They had faced an overwhelming threat and emerged intact. Not through aggression, but through understanding and composure. In that moment, each member of the Horizon realized the weight of their role, not just as explorers, but as representatives of humanity. Dr. Satu broke the silence. Captain, this is a turning point. The Dominion will remember this encounter. They will observe, they will learn, and they will respect the unpredictability of humans. Selena nodded, a warmth spreading through her chest. And we must continue to act in ways that earn that respect, Emiko. The galaxy is watching, and every choice we make now echoes far beyond this moment. Kalath straightened, his tone shifting from curiosity to cautious optimism. Humans, you have shown us that power is not only in destruction. Perhaps there is value in cooperation, in dialogue, in patience. Your species may yet teach us something we have long forgotten. A collective sigh passed through the human crew. It was relief, yes, but also a deep sense of accomplishment. They had proven something profound. The mind, the spirit, and the choices of a single species could challenge centuries of galactic domination. Celine turned to the viewport once more, watching the stars streak by. We came seeking knowledge, she said quietly. We found understanding. And in doing so, we reminded ourselves that courage is not always loud or violent. Sometimes courage is measured, patient, and unwavering. The Horizon slowly altered course, leaving the Dominion fleet behind. Yet the silence that had once threatened them now felt like a bond. The aliens would remember this encounter, not for the humans' weakness, but for the quiet strength that radiated from every action, every word, every decision. Humanity had entered the galaxy not as conquerors, but as catalysts for thought, challenging the assumptions of every species they encountered. As the stars stretched into infinity, Celine addressed her crew one last time. We are explorers, observers, and learners. But never forget, we are also humans. Our calm, our clarity, and our choices will shape the galaxy far more than we can imagine. This is only the beginning. In the distant chambers of the Dominion flagship, Kalath recorded his final report. He would recommend restraint, observation and engagement rather than immediate destruction. This single encounter would ripple through strategy councils, military academies, and fleets for generations. Humans had arrived in the galaxy, and their silence had spoken louder than any war cry ever could. And as the horizon sailed into the unknown, each crew member felt the weight and the wonder of it all. They were small against the vast cosmos, yet their impact was immeasurable. Through intelligence, patience, and courage, humanity had rewritten the rules of engagement, showing the galaxy that sometimes the greatest power lies in the mind, and the unshakable presence of a species unwilling to be intimidated. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of unknown dangers and untold possibilities. But for the humans aboard the horizon, one thing was certain. Their place in the galaxy had begun not with fire and conquest, but with quiet strength, unwavering composure, and a message that would echo through eternity. Humanity was here, and the galaxy would never forget it.